5 PFR Scoreboard, more upsets and more tremendous close games, Wayne.
Hey, a game of the week that was the game of the week.
We've been having a lot of those.
Yes,
lately.
we have.
We've been right on it. All right, scores, highlights, analysis, all of that coming up next on PFR Scoreboard.
Program support comes from NIPSCO.
Honey, who is this guy?
Oh, that's Frank. Hey, Frank.
Honey, why is Frank in our bedroom?
He's showing us ways to save money. Plus, he'll even help us install LED bulbs and new shower heads.
Oh, well, he is leaving before I shower, though, right?
To schedule an energy assessment and learn more about energy usage, visit nipsco.com.
Frank, could you hand me a towel?
Week 5 PFR Scoreboard, and we get it rolling tonight with a little bit of a surprise, maybe a lot of a surprise. Did you think the Hanover Central 15-game winning streak regular season was in jeopardy tonight?
No, I really didn't.
I didn't either.
And
Wasn't
I knew Boon Grove had improved, but I didn't think they were going to beat them.
Didn't know physically they could match up on the
Right.
line of scrimmage, and they won the war tonight. They
Yes,
won the
they did.
battle along the line of scrimmage. You know, was Hanover looking ahead a little? I don't know if they should have been with Whiting next.
Boy, they shouldn't have been because Boon Grove put a 53 on Lake Station last week, and they beat Whiting the week before.
Yeah, definitely. And they had a tremendous game plan tonight.
Yes, they did.
To shorten the game, to limit the possessions of Boon Grove, of Hanover, and it worked to a T.
It sure did.
Made a couple plays. All right, let's go to the highlights. Wayne, it's unbelievable. I thought we met so many Boon Grove graduates and alumni that we didn't know of when they beat Whiting, but they're even coming out of the woodwork even more tonight. Dylan Paul there, that's quarterback for Boone, getting sacked. They really did a number holding Hanover Central under 200 yards offensively.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, Boon Grove at one point in the first half had James DeLang, who was our MVP, down to, minus 6 yards offensively.
I've thought all these years that Tom Maloney went to Crown Point. I thought that our buddy Sammy Smith went to Valpo, but no, they're both telling me tonight they went to Boon Grove.
Boon Grove, go Wolves.
Yeah. And Jim Peters, our buddy from the Times, putting it out there on Twitter tonight. Hey, might be time to build them a home field. They're playing, as you see, at Viking Field at Valparaiso High. Might be time. They may have earned a home field.
They may not want one, but now that they play so
They
well.
got a beautiful little practice field out on the side of the school, but yeah, might be time. They might be making a statement here. This is tremendous. Coach Kukulski, tremendous game plan. To limit the tremendous offense of Hanover. Make them, look like they're putting 8 in the box.
That's right.
Make them throw. Big time sack there.
Well, I don't know of any pundits in the area that picked Boon Grove to win this one, Joe. They just played, like you said, a tremendous game plan, just stacked the box, and Hanover Central just did not play well.
Tommy, really the big turning point in the game was a missed snap on the extra point and the Boon Grove touchdown. Dylan Paul recovers the bad snap, and makes something happen with a 2-point conversion to give them the lead, and then they add a touchdown after a turnover later.
And the Boon Grove resume gets bigger and bigger and bigger. That's another big W for them. They're going to be dangerous come tournament
Now,
time.
don't you be telling me you went to Boon Grove. You went to Roosevelt.
I had family members call me saying, hey, I went to Boon Grove. I said, really? Okay. What?
No, you went to Roosevelt, buddy.
Oh,
Don't
no
try
doubt.
tonight.
I'm a Velt guy. No doubt.
right,
Love
so
you, Boon Grove, but no.
Don't be telling me any stories, all right?
Go Wolves.
Okay. All right. Let's go out to Portage. Big matchup, Crown Point and Portage. We thought last night, we were telling the Crown Point, don't let Anthony Maceo have the ball at the end of the ball game, but they got it done before
Well, they
the
did.
end of the ball game.
And you know what? They had 3 different people score, and Maceo threw a 70-yard touchdown pass.
40 yards in the air.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Coach Rodriguez told us all throughout the preseason that he had improved greatly throwing the football, was working on passing all offseason. Crown Point was going to try to make him beat him in the air tonight, and he actually got it done. And then Millage has been a great receiver for him throughout the season. Let's check out some of the highlights. CP at Portage. In fairness to Crown Point, I think they did lose Ryan Bold to injury early in this game. But they're off to a nice offensive start here.
And you notice it wasn't the quarterback crossing the end line on that first touchdown. Like Wade mentioned, 3 different guys scored before Maceo found the end zone.
Looks like they blocked the Ben Frederick field goal right there. I'm liking the unis.
Which ones?
Those new Portage unis. Look
Yeah.
a little different.
Yeah.
Some gray. Some
Red and gray.
yeah. Where's the all? We've seen the all red in the past, but a little gray home action.
I don't believe I'm working with Mr. Blackwell here, talking about all the fashion.
Oh, you got to check the stylish
Well, of course,
uniforms
no
out.
doubt, yeah.
Beautiful tackle for loss, right there. I think that might have been Caden Watson again.
And you know, we talked about how Portage had the supporting cast, quote unquote, cross the end zone against Crown Point. Let us not forget, CP's got one of the best defenses on the
Oh,
planet.
well, yeah.
Yeah, they really do.
Yeah.
But, you know, this offense and that dynamic quarterback, you know, throwing the ball to his all-around versatile running game, and then you got a speed rollout like we just saw. And but the Crown Point offensive running game has been outstanding the last few weeks.
Yeah. How many points did they score last week, Crown Point?
45 against
45
Lake Central.
against Lake Central. That's
But
impressive.
Tyler Gomez is the guy you're talking about for Crown Point that really has played well.
I'm just gonna say that he couldn't do that last year. I don't think he couldn't roll out and throw the ball on the run like that.
Right.
There was a turnover that looked like Crown Point was going to get down there and maybe put 7 more on the board, but they had to settle for a field goal. And if Portage's defense can hold you to 10 points, they're going to win the game.
Yes, they
Because
are.
you are not
Yes,
going to
they
be
are.
able to stop their offense from scoring over 20.
That's
I
right.
don't believe.
That's right.
So Portage is undefeated in the Duneland, heading on a collision course with the green and white
That could be
of
interesting.
Valparaiso.
But let's go back to what you mentioned about the quarterback Maceo improving himself. Great players don't just sit back and say, okay, I had a great last year, I'm just going to stay the way I am. Give him credit for working on that passing because he's really stepped up his game.
He has.
No
And he's
doubt.
got the weapons. He's
Yeah.
got weapons on the outside, multiple weapons to throw the football to. And they've developed a nice little passing game so that they can't crowd the box against that running game. Speaking of the green and white, they were in action with the big showdown of Porter County, that great rivalry game. Valparaiso taking on Chesterton. Let's check out some of that action. Chesterton's defense going to be tested. Valpo's defense has been dominated. I think last week we were talking about surprise teams of the year. Well, nobody had Valpo 5-0.
No.
That's right. That's right.
after
Nobody
tonight.
had that.
And nobody had their defense holding 4 of their 5 opponents to single digits, including
Right.
a 0 tonight.
Oh, they played the option beautifully there. Strung it out, got upfield.
This is a big victory for Valparaiso on the road at Chesterton. A huge game.
John Varuska there on the catch
Right.
and the run. Here comes Jake Evans with a touchdown run. You know, Valpo's had some injuries too, but it has not slowed him down.
Well, at the quarterback position, they actually used the number 3 guy, not because of injury, they just wanted to give him some playing time, but they used their number 3 quarterback tonight, and he did pretty good.
C.J. Opperman, he
Yeah.
did a nice job. Cross and I was really impressed with. I mean, he stepped up and played well in Jake LeFew's place.
Great punt, great coverage.
Yeah.
We saw Michael Scarcelli again with a tackle.
Of course, he had a big game last week.
Yeah, in the last 2 weeks. Jesse Harper with a beautiful run.
know, you talk about beautiful uniforms. They always look better when you win.
Not necessarily. You can have some great unis in defeat.
Okay, we can stand here and talk about that, but I think it would take us all night.
Beautiful Valpo defense there with a nice tackle for loss. Here comes Jesse Harper again. In Valpo's offense, you've got to cover Curry, you've got to cover Harper.
And see, that's the thing about Valparaiso. They need to put a few more points on the board with guys like Harper, because sometime down the road they have a matchup with Portage. I'm not sure where that game's going to be. It's going to be an interesting
I
matchup.
think Michael Scarcelli's going to tell you he should have caught that one. He
Yeah.
had it to hit him in the hands above the rest of the defenders.
Oh, he caught one last week that I'm
Yeah,
more than
I
make up
guess
for that.
yeah. We're not going to be critical.
Yeah, there you
Louis
go.
Rosso with a nice catch.
Didn't hear much about him tonight.
No,
And Valpo defense did a good job.
and that's been Slatkoff with a catch. Ethan Staubus for Chesterton had an interception. Chesterton's defense did a great job early, keeping them in the game, but Valpo on the ground kind of wore them down here in the second half.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. That offense wore them down, kept the ball away from them. The defense, when they did get the ball, they did what the Vikings have done all year.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the scoreboard tonight, shall we? All the finals in Northwest Indiana. Wayne Laporte moves on with a big win at home.
Big win at home. Boy, Lake Central's going to have to find a defense. I'll tell you. Laporte, this was at Laporte, though.
Tommy, Michigan City, big over Maryville. Michigan City has potential offensively to explode like they did tonight. And, we've talked about their penalties on offense that have hurt them and some turnovers that have hurt them on offense. If they get that cleaned up, they could really be a dynamic offense.
If it wasn't for that last-second loss last week against Valparaiso, we'd be talking up Michigan City big time. Let's give credit to their head coach for having their team bounce back and put some big numbers on the board tonight.
Big win for the Purple Gang of Hammond tonight by the score of 54-12. Elsewhere on the scoreboard,
Morton wins big.
Nice
Here,
win for
Nice win for Morton at Morton. Battle of the Bridge in the second one.
Checkmark wanted to pull the trigger on Munster last night, but had been burned by the Mustangs, I think, earlier this year.
Well, I questioned that one too when I picked it, but hey.
Munster's been up and down
Yes,
a little bit.
they really have. They started out and lost to Lake Central, then they kind of played well against Chesterton. Now, all of a sudden, Munster's starting to put points on the board.
All right, elsewhere on the scoreboard.
Hey, North Newton over West Central, a big win for them. They're starting to put points on the board also.
We missed the East Chicago beating Gavitt 20-18. You saw it. Griffith shutting out Wheeler. I'm just going to say this, and I'm not going to criticize anyone. This would be a great year to have Griffith playing Andrean.
Yes.
Griffith playing Hobart.
Yes.
I mean, Griffith. When you think of Griffith football over the years, you think rivalry Andrean, rivalry Munster, rivalry Hobart.
Yeah.
I really do miss those games.
Yes, I
football
agree
this
with
year.
you.
Good thing you aren't criticizing anybody.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I
okay,
understand
but your points
decisions.
were taken.
I understand administrative decisions, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
But your points were taken.
I miss those rivalries.
Yeah.
Third straight shutout for Griffith.
Yes. 54-42, Calumet over Knoll. A nice offensive performances by both teams. River Forest has been beset by injuries, and Checkmark wasn't totally aware of how many injuries they had going into tonight. But South Central with a nice win on the road nonetheless.
Whiting just, you think that they're awake now and playing well? Jeez.
Big game next week. They're going to have, you want to talk about a game that's been circled on the schedule? I think Whiting's had it circled.
So is Hanover Central.
I think, and Coach Koulianis is going to not need any speeches to get his team focused
not at all,
after
not
tonight,
at all.
after getting beat on the line of scrimmage tonight against Boon Grove. I would say that Hanover's going to have a rough week.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And they'll be focused from Friday night. Winnemac 48-7 over Judson. Elsewhere on the scoreboard. We said this was a barometer game for KV. They were impressive in defeat. This was close. I think Lowell scored late to make it 27-13, or it was 13-10 there for a while.
Right.
I know you guys were getting reports in. Knox is undefeated, folks.
Yes, they are. 5-0.
We'll have to do some research because that doesn't happen every year.
That's
I'll
right.
see when the last time Knox was undefeated in football.
Well, you could say the same thing about this next game involving Bowman. It's been a while since
Yeah,
they've never been
hey.
unbeaten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's tomorrow, and Bowman's favored against the Velt.
Who favored them?
Me.
And we're not talking basketball either.
There you go.
All right, we're going to have a timeout. When we come back, we'll break down our game of the night with some highlights coming up after this on PFR Scoreboard.
For more information on everything Prep football, visit us on Facebook or on Twitter at PFR Sports.
All right, we're back live on PFR Scoreboard on Lakeshore PBS. Our game of the night, our game of the week. It lived up to it. 59-59 Broadway. This is one of those rivalries I'm talking about. Hobart and Drayen. It was smash mouth. It was defense.
Leather helmets.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Singing the fight song afterwards. Fans in tents.
Well, you mentioned Griffith versus Andre and Griffith versus that team. This is a rivalry that's gone for a while, and hopefully it will stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's been a great rivalry over the years.
Yeah.
It hasn't had any real animosity, but there's been some tremendous matchups.
Yeah.
They know when each other's on the schedule, and they've got full attention. Let's check out some of the highlights. It was smash mouth tonight. Were a few turnovers. Were some great defense. Offenses had to take a back seat, and there are some more stylish unis on the road, Tommy.
Didn't they win?
They
the
did
team that
win,
won the white,
but
yeah. Well, there you
regardless
go.
of if they
That helps.
lost, I liked the purple and gold on the side
What
of
are
the
you, a
pants
Vikings
there.
fan?
No,
okay.
I like these though. Those are nicer than the Vikings.
Well, there you go.
ones right there. Vikings don't have the gold helmet.
Talking Minnesota.
Yeah.
Not Zelbo.
Oh, look at this gang tackling. Both defenses. When we talked to the coaches last night, they both were talking about their defense need to answer the call along the line of scrimmage. I'm sure they both felt if they'd have given up 7 points in regulation that they were going to win the game.
Yes,
but it didn't happen.
definitely.
Really, this guy's fast. I didn't really, Coach,
Ehrlich?
Come on.
Coach Skinner is right.
Yeah.
He moves good.
Yeah. We'll find out how good later on.
Well, I think he played running back a little bit last year.
Right,
also.
he did. No, he did. Primarily, he didn't play quarterback.
Exactly.
Coach Turley said last night they moved him in the spring, and Adrian lost in overtime tonight, but they played awfully well. I mean, I don't think this is not a New Prairie loss. They played very well tonight defensively, and I know folks are going to say we should have kicked the field goal. I don't buy it.
Yeah.
I don't know if a field goal. You can't play a field goal is going to beat a team that can score as easily as Hobart can.
Well, people are going to
throw there.
always second guess when it doesn't work. So, of course you're going to second guess.
It was a lot of time left.
Yeah.
When beautiful throw by Merrill for the touchdown. It just seemed like neither team could get much going running the football.
Yeah, don't get used to using that word touchdown during this highlight
No,
package. Okay,
not much
because
going on.
Defense is dominated tonight.
Well, Hobart's defense stopped Andrain in overtime, and Andrain kicked the field goal to take the lead. But Hobart came back on the first play and scored a TD.
Early. 10-yard
That's right.
touchdown run on first down in overtime after the Andrean field goal. And that's the winner for the Bricks. So they have great defense tonight, but great defense on both sides. Hobart run game in overtime on the first down. And I just want to let you know that, come on, don't give him credit. Everybody would have called the run play on first down. I heard you patting him on the back on the radio.
Well, he did mention, I got to give him credit. He didn't get much right today, but but he knocked that one out the park.
You had to make the point out obvious when he did get one of those things right.
But let's give Hobart credit real quick on this. defensive coach in the hospital, have to deal with that. Going up against a good football team. They showed guts tonight.
Yeah, they did.
Give them credit.
Well, I think both teams played awfully well.
both.
I think
Okay.
a lot of guts on both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, this was one of those games where it was one play in overtime. I'm really coming out of this game. I'm optimistic about Andrean. 3A, Hobart 4A, two teams with something to build on after this. Hobart's or Andrean's a 3A school playing in a 4A conference, really.
Yep.
So I think this prepares them for the postseason. I think both of these teams got a lot to be happy about tonight with this, even though the Andrean folks don't want to hear that because they lost in overtime.
Well, they lost to a good team.
Yeah.
And as you guys mentioned, they played gutsy football too. But doesn't Hobart have a date with Lowell later on?
Yes, they
Indeed,
do.
they do.
Week
Get
nine.
tickets
And
now.
Munster.
Week 9.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, Hobart and Lowell will be coming up, and Andrean and Lowell will
Yeah.
be coming up
That's
as
gonna
well.
be
That's
fun.
usually the last week of the regular season. But I think, I think both teams, like I said, have to be excited going forward about their prospects here. Hobart got the monkey really off their back last year, getting that sectional with the win over New Prairie, but they, are looking for more. Coach, surely I heard him with you guys saying, they had 26 or 28 seniors last year, and they're down to 16, so they're not rebuilding. They are reloading.
Right.
They've been very competitive with a younger team, getting still great leadership from the 16 seniors, and when you can plug it, they had a freshman
Yes, Babcock.
playing
Babcock.
tonight, which is really
Babcock.
insane.
Yeah, and think about this. How many football teams can say, our coach has a ring on his finger for being a player
Yeah.
and winning a state championship?
Well, I think if you're a freshman playing a varsity game in 4A, that's something.
Yeah.
It's not 1A or 2A. You're playing in a 4A varsity game. There's not many great players that we've had in the area. I mean, I can remember Jamel Williams, I think, from Maryville.
Maryville.
I think he played varsity as a freshman. Some guy named Jeelan Robinson, I think he played varsity
Right.
as a freshman.
Jordan Jusovich from Lowell.
Right, exactly. Justovich played as a freshman varsity, right? And starting, obviously,
Right.
you're going to be playing is one thing, but starting is a totally different thing. So, big win for the Bricks tonight, 13-10. All right, we'll take it around again, and we can talk about what's going to be that top matchup next week for us on our game of the week. LaPorte big, 56-7. Portage gets another win. They're still undefeated in the Duneland. Valpo's undefeated on the season, 5-0 for the green and white. And Michigan City big. Hammond wins over Clark. Lowell impressive again, but a very good effort from KV tonight at home in one of their is that the milk carton?
Yeah,
That's the milk
I
carton
think so.
game down
Milk
there
carton,
that Lowell retains the milk carton. They're taking it home down over to Route 2. Elsewhere on the scoreboard, Morton with a nice one over West Side. Munster, big win in the Battle of the Bridge. EC over Gavitt in a close one. I'm going to step out now and I'm going to say maybe our game of the week next week should be Griffith at Boon Road.
That'd be a good one. That'd be a good one.
Yeah, very intriguing. matchup.
I think you reward teams who play their way into some big games. And just looking at the schedule before we came on tonight, I think that could be the most worthy game of a big look.
That would be a fun matchup.
With Whiting at Hanover, both teams have lost conference games now. I don't know if Boone can play with Griffith, okay, but they may have earned the right to be the game of the week.
Did we think Boone could play with Whiting? Did we think Boone could play with Hanover Central tonight?
No.
You never know.
Yeah,
You never know.
No, but they're improving as the season's gone on.
Yeah.
They're undefeated in their conference. So we'll see. They'll have a meeting of the minds after the program to decide what we've got going on for next week. North Newton with a nice win over West Central. There's the Griffith score. Shut out Wheeler 48-0. They've been 3 shutouts?
Yep,
3 shutouts in a row.
3 shutouts in a row.
All right, that's pretty good. Calumet. What's his name? Paris Hernandez.
Yes,
right? Paris
Harris
Hernandez.
Hernandez, leading receiver in the
Man,
area.
He's getting it done. He's hard to cover. He's a tough cover.
He could be our unknown.
Is he available Sunday for the Bears?
Jeez, the Bears need it.
I mean, I'm not sold on Tanner Gentry, but is Paris Hernandez available? South Central over River. Boon with the upset of the night, 15-7 over Hanover, and Whiting 73-12 over Lake Station. John Glenn undefeated, 5-0, 28-3 over, or Knox undefeated. I'm sorry, Knox undefeated, 28-3 over John Glenn. And Tommy's got that one circled for tomorrow. Bowman and Roosevelt.
Can I red check Wayne real quick?
Sure.
Roosevelt.
Go ahead. Don't add that to my stats.
Okay.
Over 13 and Dragon 10 in OT in a great one over at 5959 Broadway. All right. Anything else looking for next week? Whiting and Hanover. I think Valpo's at Crown Point. Does Crown Point have a chance against the Big Green Machine?
You know, the Big Green Machine's defense is really, really good. I don't know if Crown Point can score on them. That's the problem. Crown Point really had a tough night tonight.
Well, how about the Crown Point defense versus the Valpo offense?
Yeah.
I mean, Crown Point's got a great defense, but I think you hit the nail on the head with that first matchup.
All right. We will see you Thursday night for another edition of PFR on Lakeshore PBS. Good night.
Program support comes from NIPSCO.
Honey, who is this guy?
Oh, that's Frank. Hey, Frank.
Honey, why is Frank in our bedroom?
He's showing us ways to save money. Plus, he'll even help us install LED bulbs and new shower heads.
Oh, well, he is leaving before I shower, though, right?
To schedule an energy assessment and learn more about energy usage, visit NIPSCO.com.
Frank, could you hand me a towel?